Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Now at 6, a 2-year-old boy is dead and his mother is looking for answers tonight. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Today we're hearing from the mother of that boy. Her son died from choking on food at the YWCA daycare in New Britain.
And she says she was never contacted by the daycare when her son began choking. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules spoke with the mother and has what the YWCA is sharing about this incident.
Tuesday was a normal day for Shamira Cook as she dropped her 2-year-old son off at daycare. Just 3 hours later, she says an unimaginable nightmare began.
I don't have nothing left for my son's shirt. I don't even want to take a shower because I got his scent on my skin.
Shamira Cook says she dropped her son, Santi Reynolds, off to daycare at the YWCA in New Britain just before 9 Tuesday morning. She says just before noon, she was contacted by a director at the daycare, telling her that her son choked on a meatball. She was told that he was being worked on and that everything was okay, but she needed to come down to the daycare. When Cook and her fiance got to the daycare, she says it was everything but okay.
And when I get to the daycare, it's all the first responders in the daycare. All the staff is running around crying and just scattering everywhere.
Then her fiance was met with a horrifying sight.
And when me and his father, Asani Reynolds, turned the corner to go in his room, they had my son on the floor doing CPR, and he was already intubated before we got there. And nobody called me beforehand.
A New Britain official confirmed that a 911 call came into dispatch at 11:44 a.m. for a child choking. Cook says she was never contacted by the daycare until after EMS was called. In a press release, the YWCA says, quote, YWCA New Britain staff responded immediately and followed all emergency procedures, including administering age-appropriate first aid and calling 911. Emergency services were contacted and the child's family was immediately notified and involved throughout the process. Cook says this statement is simply untrue.
I got the phone call at 11:47. The phone call was less than a minute long. There's no way from 11:30 to 11:47 you in contact with me this whole time, with me living 3 minutes down the street.
Christopher Murray, Cook's attorney, says all they want now is answers.
Right now we want to see 3 things. Number 1, what does the medical examiner's report say? Number 2, what does the police report say? Number 3, I'm sure DCF is going to do an investigation, and we want to get answers from them to find out what happened, why this tragedy happened.
Cook is a veteran, now pregnant with her 3rd child. As she prepares to bury her 2-year-old son, she says she wants him to be remembered as kind and loving.
I just want them to remember my son as being a sweet boy that was just kind and so playful.
DCF did confirm to Fox 61 that they're conducting a joint investigation with the Office of Early Childhood and law enforcement. In New Britain, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
The weather impact alert here has been extended to Friday, not for the heat though, but because we're now on flood watch.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here now with the first check of the forecast. So, Rach, the questions are how severe and when are they going to hit?
It looks like the downpours for tomorrow will get more numerous as we head through the afternoon and the evening. But I have to tell you about tonight as well, because there are a few hit or miss thunderstorms out there as well. And it looks like these thunderstorms will be coming down over the course of the next half an hour to about an hour or so. There was previously a severe thunderstorm warning that was associated with the storm. Let me back up here. That was previously in New Haven County. That has been allowed to expire since the storm has weakened significantly, but we are still seeing some rain right now around Hamden. We still have some steady rain for Southington and Wolcott, and we'll continue to see some areas of showers again for the next hour or so before this ends up fizzling out, and this will help cool us off. Here's a look at at the future radar. Again, notice as we head through the next half an hour to hour or so, we'll get these showers out of here. But again, this is tomorrow, unrelated to what's going on right now. A flood watch is in effect. The heat wave will be over, and then we are shifting gears and calling our attention to the potential for some heavier downpours. We're expecting about 1 to 2 inches of rain for most of the state. There could be some higher amounts if we get caught up in some persistent heavier downpours. I am not expecting widespread flooding, but there could be a few trouble spots. In the meantime, a heat advisory continues for another 2 hours. Low temperatures tonight will be down around 70, and we wave goodbye to heat indices like this heading into the day tomorrow. We'll talk more about that rain on the way coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. And remember, the extreme hot weather protocol is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Cooling centers are open for another 2 hours. To find the closest one to you, dial 211 on your phone or visit 211ct.org online. We also have all that information available on fox61.com.
I'm running for Congress because we have to change the way we're doing things, and we don't have time to wait.
You heard it there from the man himself. You might remember him as Hartford's former mayor, but now Luke Bronin is hoping folks vote for him as Connecticut's new congressman. Fox 61's Solene Arif met with Bronin to ask him why he's running and why now.
When Luke Bronin announced his congressional bid on social media Wednesday morning, he said, and I quote, "I respect people who've served in Congress for decades, but at a certain point, it's just time to let some new voices in." On Wednesday, the past and the future came face to face as folks spoke with a former mayor who could be their future congressman.
I was mayor of Hartford for 8 years, and you saw me during those 8 years fight for my city 24/7, 365, working every single day to try to make things better in this city. And that's the kind of energy and urgency that I think we need in Congress.
Bronin says he worked closely with Representative John Larson, whose seat he wants to win. But Bronin says he met with Larson recently, and they didn't see eye to eye on where current politics should focus. Larson's team sent us a statement saying Larson plans on officially launching a re-election campaign. Part of the statement says the decision voters make will ultimately be about who is delivering for them and who has a plan for the future, which Larson's team says he has. Bronin says a change in direction is something he'll bring to the table.
We have a congressman who, again, I respect, but who has been talking about the same things and in the same way for 28 years.
Bronin brought up the struggles of the middle class that he says need priority, and he'll give attention to if elected.
The combination of health care costs, child care costs, housing costs, electricity costs, just makes it impossible to live a good middle class life anymore. And our government has a role to play in making those things better and easier and more affordable.
Bronin was also a senior official for the Obama administration and served as a Navy intelligence officer, where he learned collaboration skills he says he wants to bring to Congress.
The biggest threat to our democracy, to our country, to the middle class is coming out of Washington right now. And as a Democratic Party, we need to make sure that we're responding with the energy and the urgency that this moment demands.
There's still a few months until voting in November, but stick with us on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus for more coverage on this election we'll be watching very closely. Reporting in Hartford, Solene Arif, Fox 61.
Connecticut rail riders will see a 10% fare hike now that the MTA has approved a proposal from the DOT. The first 5% increase will take effect September 1st, and another 5% is coming in July of next year. The hikes apply to Metro North, Shoreline East, and the Hartford line. It's meant to offset an $11 million budget cut. The DOT is expected to finalize the decision by Friday.
A person has died after a small plane crashed at Block Island State Airport earlier this afternoon. Officials tell us a single-engine plane crashed into the trees after landing at 12:30. We're told 3 people were on board, and firefighters say one of them died on the way to the hospital. We're working to learn how the other 2 are doing tonight. No one has been identified, and the FAA is investigating.
All right, now the Hartford Police Department has a permanent police chief. Hartford Mayor Arunan Aralampalam named interim chief James Ravella as the city's next chief. Ravella is a Hartford native with decades of law enforcement experience. He's praised by Hartford leaders for his steady leadership and deep commitment to community policing. The mayor says Ravella will continue using data-driven strategies to reduce crime and strengthen neighborhood safety. Ravella has led the department since February and says he is honored to serve and is focused focused on building strong community partnerships. A public town hall will be held as soon as his nomination moves forward. And state police say Vince McMahon caused a multi-vehicle crash in Westport last week. Officers tell us the former WWE CEO was driving on the Merritt Parkway just before 9:30 in the morning when he rear-ended a car and crashed into a wooden guardrail. We're told another car hit debris from the crash that flew up over the guardrail, but thankfully no one got hurt. This happened just a few hours before we learned Hulk Hogan had died. McMahon faces charges of reckless driving and following too closely. He is due in court August 26th.
Danbury police say a woman drove recklessly while following a federal agent yesterday. This happened around noon, but we don't know where specifically in Danbury. Police say Cynthia Behrens of Bethel ran through 3 red lights to follow that agent. When officers pulled her over, she reportedly didn't cooperate with police. Danbury firefighters were called in to help police get into her car and arrest her. She's out on bond and faces unknown charges.
And a Wethersfield police officer narrowly avoided being hit by a vehicle this morning on Wells Road. Authorities say it happened when a driver experienced a medical emergency and veered off the road. That driver also hit another car and crashed into a home, damaging a natural gas line in the process. No one got hurt, and the gas line is secured, and now officials are investigating for structural damage, and the crash is under investigation as well.